Um, I'd like just to add to what Suzanne said and welcome everybody. And it's a really exciting day for us in Acorn to have our launch event. I work in Trinity College Dublin, and as Suzanne says, I'm the co-PI of the Acorn initiative. So how we got to today, it's been a huge amount of very, very hard work to get to today. And we hope that the format of the day will be very helpful to you. We're certainly very excited. I must say the PI overall of this Acorn initiative is Niamh Fitzgerald. And the idea from the start was Niamh's. Niamh got in touch with me about a year and a half ago to say that she was very keen that we would build capacity in these islands on alcohol policy, alcohol pricing, availability, marketing, and the politics of alcohol research. So I'd like to thank Niamh for the initiative. It really has been her creation. We're building on previous collaborations, and without collaborations, we in Ireland would have much less of a chance of having decent alcohol policy. But working across Ireland and the UK has proven to be very beneficial and also very pleasant. And there is a culture of collaboration, as Suzanne outlined, at an international level. Now, the call for this grant round came out pre-COVID. And when we put in our application, our plan was that the launch event would be in person in Dublin. Unfortunately, COVID has put a scupper to that. But we have, as Suzanne said, learned how to work with online. Networking is a particular challenge online, but we'll come to that later on. And the grant is for 1 year. The overall aim of the network, I suppose the important words here, is building capacity. And it's building capacity for research. Specifically, it's I know we have a lot of researchers on here today, attending today. We have other people who are not in the research field, but it's a focus is on research, and basically we want to be able to implement and evaluate alcohol policy innovation in the Republic of Ireland and the UK. And as I said, there are 4 research themes, and we come to the program of today. And you've all signed up to 2 breakout sessions: price, availability, marketing, and politics. So that's our overall aims: building capacity. In Niamh's address at 3:30, she will go into more detail about the activities that we will be promoting. But in summary, in relation to our objectives, there are several fold. And it's very concrete. First of all, to develop partnerships, to build on existing partnerships, and that's why today is such an important start for that. And we're looking at interdisciplinary researchers, and we have quite a lot of disciplines represented today. There's been a list has been sent of all the people who are attending and their background and their affiliation. Sharing of research ideas, and everybody has an input into that. And some of the best research can come from can come from very informal settings. And the methodology of networking we'll be going into. We will need to identify research priorities, and they can vary slightly in the different jurisdictions of these 2 islands. But research priorities we do need. And obviously we need to branch out beyond researchers then to policymakers. So building capacity, as I said, and we have several researchers. We have experienced researchers, mid-career researchers, and people who are starting out on a research pathway, and people who are keen to become involved in the research process. And the types of activities that are planned over the next year, which will be outlined by Niamh later on today, are there to facilitate people at all stages of their research career. And obviously, then finally, an objective is to build, to enable research teams to be set up multiple teams, obviously, with a view to enhancing the type of research that's getting done, making sure it's relevant, and overall that it makes sure it's publishable and that it can spread beyond. There are a few studentship proposals. So there are supports for emerging researchers, again, which we'll be going into later. Okay. So who are we and what type of structures? We're a small-ish group at the moment, and we have three, I suppose, levels of involvement, that people can be part of. That we have an overall steering group, and that comprises 7 people. So there's Niamh, the PI, myself, the co-PI and PI for Ireland. Niamh Short, you'll be hearing from shortly. Also Pat Kenny, Helen McAvoy from the Institute of Public Health, and we have a lot of structural support from the Institute of Public Health in this, and that is very welcome. Colin Angus, who will be talking later from Sheffield, and Catherine Darker from Trinity College. So those are the sort of the founder members, and when the application went in. The next structure, the next sort of involvement is our co-investigators who have signed up to be involved in certain work as we go along, and you'll be hearing from some of these today, in particular Matt Lesh, and lots of the people whose names have been up there already. Nearly all are actually attending today, and beyond that there are people who want to be involved, who want to be on our mailing list, and we'll go through, Niamh will go through in more detail later, the different levels of association. So some people are here just at the launch, some people will be on to a waiting on a mailing list, and people who are not researchers, it's important that they know what researchers are doing as well, what the environment is, because it's research on its own will not change policy. Okay. Communications established so far. There's a website and blog, place for blogging, and that will be encouraged. Our Twitter account is at Acorn Alcohol, and please feel free to tweet during the meeting. The hashtag is at Acorn Alcohol. So people can certainly tweet during the meeting, and some have already done so. So these are just, there's a press release was issued today in the different jurisdictions where this initiative is going to be happening. And again, it's just a sort of a reiteration, I suppose, of the culture and the context and what we aim to achieve. I'll just give you a minute, maybe just to have a read of what's there rather than my talking the whole time. Okay, so in a sense, it's partnerships. It's building on the common culture across the islands. Some parts of this part of the world have led on issues like minimum unit pricing. A lot has been done in Scotland, went through the courts for a long time. In the Republic of Ireland, we're hoping to introduce minimum unit pricing very, very shortly. So the context in which alcohol policy is developed across these islands is quite similar. Okay. So what are our aspirations? Well, the first one is to have a successful launch. Certainly a lot of work has been put into it, a lot of thought. And it is a challenge to get networking going online. Some people know people very well, other people don't know anybody. So we'll have to build on that from today. Certainly an aspiration is that we'll be meeting in person at our different events as soon as possible, just not possible at the moment. And we want to fulfill, if not exceed, our aim and objectives. That's our goal. Okay. We wish to acknowledge and thank the financial support from the Irish Research Council in the Republic of Ireland and the Economic and Social Research Council of the UK, who jointly funded this initiative. And as I say, we do wish to acknowledge their support for this initiative.